Welcome to Find It. I have Kris Oliver here with me this evening in studio. We're going to have a good old time with you. You're going to get to know a lot more about Kris, and we're going to have some laughs. It's all good. But before we start the interview, we do have a little intro we made for you, my friend. So we're going to show that and then come right back so we can chat with you guys. We're back. What did you think of that? Can I just tell you, it is a little difficult to find pictures of you.
I try to avoid.
I can tell. I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to be a private investigator to find pictures of you, which that's another story that you can maybe share. I had no idea that this gal was a private investigator.
Oh,
that's the state and the state highway patrol. Oh gosh, I feel like I better follow the rules. I may get arrested tonight. She said, don't ask me anything that's going to embarrass me. I'm like, well, I don't want to get in trouble.
Is that why you're blinding me right now?
Yeah, blinded by the lights. Okay, so really though, you have been in male-dominated industries pretty much your entire life. Your working careers have involved a lot of different jobs that typically when you think of them, you would think that it's a male-dominated job, an industry, a career. And so before we backpedal to what you started with, I do have some pictures of All Signs, the building that, do you see it, Lynn? It is the current business that you own. And they do all kinds of large signs. And if you show the other one, I laughed so hard about this picture because what she wrote at the top of this was, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. So this is her Christmas tree. This is how she decorates.
Where?
Looks like the courthouse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what were you doing there? Stringing lights on the...
Stringing the lights.
Stringing lights on the pillars.
Yep.
That's so funny. So All Signs, and I am telling you, you guys have been such an amazing resource for me and all of my business. Every time I think of something like an 11th hour idea, I'm like, hey, Kris, hey, Jean, what do you think of this? And they're like, well, when do you need it? Like yesterday, maybe? And they're like, oh my gosh, this girl, we've got to make it happen. But thank you for always. So tell us, what was your first, kind of like if we're talking about male dominated industries, what was your first one?
Well, I'm probably being a state trooper.
Okay.
I didn't work when I was in school because I played sports.
Yeah.
And so when I finally graduated and everything, boom, that was the first thing I did. I was a state trooper for about 3 years.
Oh my gosh. Could you give us like any stories that stand out in your mind of being a state trooper?
Oh man, there was a lot of them. The one story that I often tell is I was up in northern Ohio, Auglaize County, where that is. But
no, I don't know where that is.
The home of Neil Armstrong.
Okay. Well, now I totally know.
Go visit it. It's awesome.
Oh my God.
But I worked 4 to midnight, so half of my shift was always at night as it was dark.
Uh-huh.
And so right before I was almost midnight, I was just checking to make sure everything was good. And I pulled over a semi. And so when as a state trooper, you don't run up because you don't know what's up there. So you kind of lurk, you kind of linger. And this truck driver got out of the semi and he came back to me.
And that's kind of a no-no.
And so that kind of sets you on edge because, I was just this little old girl and so I kind of motioned to him, hey, have a seat in the front of the cruiser. When you open the cruisers, the interior lights don't turn on so that you're not all lit
on
up.
display.
And so I get in and I sit down, he gets in and sits down. And so I kick my lights on and I give him the normal spiel, reason I stopped you was I checked your speed at 65 miles an hour. Is there any reason why you're traveling so fast? And I'm getting my pinch book out and getting ready to write him a ticket and stuff. And I said, you see your driver's license, registration, your log book. And so I'm writing and he hands it to me and I reach over to get his license, and his hands are so calloused and strong. It sort of took me, it just kind of took me off my game. And so I looked up at him, and I don't know if you know the picture of Jesus where it's all in browns and tans.
Yeah.
And the wavy hair and the beard and the rest. And
he said,
he looked exactly like that. He had a flannel shirt on. I mean, I could just picture him sitting in this cruiser beside me. And I know my mouth had to open up. And I probably said something as uncool and creative as,
"Forgive me, Father, for I've sinned."
But I finally got out, "I hope that this doesn't offend you, but has anyone ever told you you look just like Jesus Christ?" And he said, without skipping a beat, he said, "Why, no, my child."
Oh, no, he didn't.
And I took his, of course, now I've got this ticket started, and I said, "Listen, sir, I do not believe you are the Son of God any more than I am. But I still have about a half hour on my shift, and there's no way that I'm citing my Savior. So, you go ahead and you go ahead and take your stuff, and you go ahead and have a very safe day." And he said, "Why, bless you."
Oh, he was playing it.
He left, and I, right, wrong, or indifferent.
Yeah.
I thought, you know what? For the next 20 years, this truck driver, every time he got pulled over, he probably said, "Do you think I look like Jesus? Look just like, you think I look like Jesus?"
Play that card. He probably sped off. He's like, "No more 65. I'm pushing it to 75 now."
It didn't matter to me. That ticket was fine. That was fine by me. I wasn't going to.
Wow.
Why risk it?
That's so crazy. No, I've never heard that story before.
Oh, yeah.
But this is a nice segue, since we're talking about Jesus. That, faith is extremely important to you. Your faith has gotten you through your life and difficult times and good times as well. And, the loss of your parents. And I know you and I've had conversations about you miss them, but you also know where they are and they're taken care of. And
didn't lose them. I know exactly where they are.
You didn't lose them. Yeah, you didn't lose them. But that, I'd like to give you just a second to explain to us, like, what you just came from church, but don't tell me that if you're a religious, faithful person that you can't have a sense of humor. She's wearing a t-shirt right now. She just came from church too. Okay. Her shirt says, "I love God, but some of his children get on my nerves."
Hey,
okay.
True that.
So true that. I can say, can I get an amen?
No, amen.
Okay.
Amen.
Amen to that. Okay. So, and I think I'm one of them sometimes. All right. But so you just came from church. What church do you go to? For the locals who are here, what church do you go to?
Tabernacle Baptist Church.
Yeah. It's just a stone's throw from where we are right now.
Yeah. Got a seat ready for you anytime you
want. Got a seat ready.
Whenever you want to go.
Got a seat ready. Yeah. So, and what do you do there? I mean, are you involved?
I was at rehearsal. That's where I just came from. So, my buddy Tim and I do the sound. I do the stream. I do the live sound, and he does the in-house sound. And so we sit up there. And
do you have a tendency to want to help Len tonight?
Yeah, I know.
I feel like I can help do this. Okay.
So we do that. I guess I'm a deacon now, but I've been a trustee for about 15 years.
Yeah.
And I started teaching Sunday school about 5 years ago with my dad, and my dad's taught it. He taught it forever. But my oldest sister Tammy and I started teaching with him, and so after Dad passed, we kept going. So we teach Sunday school, and our big thing that Tammy and I every year do Vacation Bible School. It's one of my highlights of it. I just love the kids.
I would always go to Vacation Bible School when I was growing up as a kid. I loved it. And all the fun, extras that you get to do because you have more time and it's all week and it's just so fun.
Oh, it's not all week because we've started planning back in November.
Yeah.
So
but how long is your vacation? Bible school?
I can't remember. It's 5 days or 7 months. It's hard to tell.
Okay.
And come Thursday or Friday of that week, you're like, oh.
I know, right? But when the kids come, it's a 5 day.
Yeah, 5 days.
5 days. Yeah, that's what it always was when I was growing up too. It was like 5 or 7 days, just a week, you know.
Yeah. Well, when we try to get rid, volunteers, we try not to say 5 long days.
5 long days that turn into months and months of preparation. It's no big deal. Sign up. Yeah. But I know that faith is so important to you, as it is to me. I mean, I think that we need a little Jesus in our life.
Amen.
And you want to hold that up? This is what's sitting on
my little Jesus.
She's like, she put him on my shoulder. I think she thinks I'm going to like ask some weird question. No, I don't know.
And then look what happened to it.
Okay. Let's talk about that. Yeah. She put this up. This head's missing.
This is my other one.
That one looks a little like Jesus has been through it.
Well, our little puppy got a hold of that one. And I got it away, but unfortunately Jesus lost part of his noggin. Took it on the head.
And then you had to watch for a few days, a day or two to see Jesus be birthed through.
A couple days. She had Jesus in her.
Oh, yeah. She's a very religious dog.
Oh, yes. Well, she was at least.
She's got Jesus in, little pieces of Jesus in her.
I don't have the heart to throw it away. I think that just seems so.
I know. Just because he has it does. Yeah. Like, oh, now that you have a defect.
Yeah. It's the reason why everybody has 25 Bibles in their house.
Yeah.
Who can throw away a Bible?
Who can get rid of that? Like, hey, you want this whole thing?
Yeah. I'm not using this anymore. No, it's God's word.
That's right. That's true. That's funny. I never really thought of it like that.
That's why you don't do it. I have a Bible that has coffee I spilled all over, and the pages are stuck together. Mm-hmm. Still have it.
Yeah.
Don't use that one. Still have it.
It should be a coaster now.
It should be.
I mean, like, hey,
she didn't mean that, Lord, but okay.
I know, but hey, you're using it. You have it out. It's there. It's in position. But speaking of, okay, so now that we have
I'm gonna move away from her, she can keep talking.
Now that we have a little taste of like the sense of humor, but also the absolute amazing, faithful person that we have sitting on this sofa tonight. The funniest story Jean shared with me recently was that you made a little purchase to just get some, like, I don't know, it looked like shoestrings or something. And you got these and you ordered it, and these are what you ordered.
Yes.
And then you opened up your package and
I didn't want to tie my boots. I was being lazy and didn't want to tie my boots.
Well, then
that was it.
And then, so she ordered this, and Len, show everybody what showed up. Daddy's slut. That's so your personality.
About probably 95% of the packages that come to our house, they belong to Jean's.
Also,
so when I actually get a package, I get pretty excited. I'm like,
oh,
my name's on it! And so I'm like, oh, look at my shoestrings came, because I'm lazy and I just didn't want to have to.
They're the stretch kind.
Didn't want to have to tie.
Yeah.
And so I open it up and I'm like, I don't remember getting the sequiny ones.
Because the sequins are such your style, right? Blingy, bring it on, right?
And so I started to pull it, but all the letters had smooshed all together. And so as we started to pull them out, she said, well, what the heck does it say? And I said, well, I don't know. It says, oh, daddy. Oh, wait, daddy's slut. Who even makes something like that?
Oh my gosh.
Of all the people in the world, all the people that would get
it. So Jean couldn't stand it. She was like, oh my gosh, this was long before I knew you were going to be on. But she sent that. She goes, Debbie, Kris, look, this is what she ordered. This is what she got. And I keep thinking, like, I've been thinking about, like, every day it'll pop in my head and I belly laugh over it. It's so funny. Daddy's slut. Oh gosh, wear those to church.
Yeah. She said, are you going to turn it back in? I said, well, heavens no. What? Somebody else have that?
Oh, you're saving something from it. Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. All right. So we're now, the jokes, the fun, but we do want to continue to talk about, so you started as a state highway patrol, but then what made you decide to leave that career? Jesus and the semi did it. That was it.
No, being a state, I was very young, and
do you think God knew He could send that to you?
Oh no. But I was very, very young.
Yeah.
You can ask David about me, but I never went through a drive-through until I was a state trooper. I was scared to death.
What?
Scared to death. And
a drive-through just like Burger King?
Yes. I wouldn't go shopping by myself because I was afraid to check out. And my sisters and my friends and mom, and they would all teach her, what do you think's going to happen to you? And I said, I don't know. They're going to say $3.50, and I'm going to go, I have no idea. But it
I wonder what
absolutely total fear didn't. And so, here all of a sudden one day I'm not going through the McDonald's for coffee, and then they strap a gun on my hip.
What? So wait, do you think part of what was the initial incentive or drive inside of you that thought, I'm going to be a
Cagney and Lacey?
No, you're kidding.
No way, man. They were kicking it.
So that was your inspiration. And then you're like, I'm also going to have a gun, but don't even dare send me through a drive-thru.
I wanted to be nice like Lacey and kick some serious bad guys. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that was really it.
Okay, so then once you became, you had to go through.
Before I wanted to be a state trooper, when I was little, I wanted to be a beauty shop.
Okay.
And Mom said, you can't be a beauty shop.
Okay.
No, I wanted to be the whole shop.
Oh.
No, that was it. I just wanted to be the whole beauty. And so Mom talked me out of that. Then I started watching Cagney and Lacey, and then I wanted to be a cop.
Gotcha. Well, I mean,
it's the progression.
I love your honesty that Cagney and Lacey did that for you. But but like, it's not an easy thing to become a state trooper. You had to go through a lot of testing, a lot of like physical, right? Don't you have to go through physical training?
Hundreds and hundreds of people take the test. When my class started, there was, I think 90 some that started, and it's 6.5 months.
Yeah.
And they
put you through it.
Oh yeah, they did.
So at the end of the day, how many got through?
We graduated 74.
Okay. And then after that, you graduated, but then you have to be placed. You have to actually or do you automatically have a job?
You go through this horrific,
yeah.
I mean,
drill
trying not to cry
stuff.
Because, by the way, troopers don't cry.
Troopers don't cry.
That's a harsh lesson you learn like
Suck
day
it up,
one.
Cagney.
Day one, you learn that one.
Okay. Suck it up, Cagney.
So you go through all of this Monday through Friday. You live there. They yelling at you. Before you're allowed to leave Friday night, you have to go through this big inspection in your room. And they always find something wrong. And so
they found your Cagney and Lacey book.
No, but I was not I had some questionable acts. I had one thing that always got me in trouble was you had to have boots. You had to polish your boots, and they had to be unbelievably shiny. And I didn't care what I did. I could not get my stupid boots to shine.
You should have had those.
I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you. I'd say, how do you get yours to shine? And they'd say, oh, we spit on them, and I'm in my room at night, whatever it took. I could not put pop on it. I tried everything. And so one weekend when I was home, I found this darn spray in the can. Which, by the way, you're not allowed to have as a state trooper, as a cadet. And so I took it, and I had to hide it. And so I hid it in my dirty clothes because I figured if they caught me, if somebody wanted to go through my dirty clothes, because after all of, then I say power to the people. That's good enough for me. I deserve.
You deserve to be found.
That.
Yeah.
But they never found me. But so I would spray my shoes. I'd have to go because there were 11 girls in the beginning, and the girls were on one side and the boys were on another dorm room. And so I had to go someplace, and it stunk.
Oh yeah,
so you had to go. You had to have someplace where you got some,
ventilation.
Yeah. I mean, I'm committed. Yeah. When I do something wrong, I like to do it. I like to really.
We got to do it upright.
Right. And so I would spray them down, and then I have to get my can, hide it, get it back into my room, get it into my daggone dirty clothes.
Think of it. Now listen, and she didn't want to go through a drive-through. This is way worse.
I know. See, I'm committed. I said, when I go hard.
I go hard.
And so I remember the first inspection. It was Trooper Anderson was his name. I don't know why I remember that. But anyway, he came, and so he's standing in front of me, and he's inspecting me, and he said, your hat and your, everything has to be gig and all. And he looks down at my shoes, and he says, well, Cadet Oliver, that is a fine shine you have on your boots. And I said, well, thank you, sir. And so he said, good job. And so he starts to walk away, I'm like, oh, praise the Lord. Oh my gosh. And he stops and he turns around and he says, from this point on, I'm sending all cadets that are having trouble shining their shoes.
Oh no.
To you.
Oh no. Backfired.
And I thought, Wow.
Oh, now I'm going to get everybody in trouble.
That is, and that was, mind you, before, you didn't Google it.
No.
I mean, I'm not old enough that we had a little hamster wheel. We actually had a computer, but it was, it was black with the little yellow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was,
you couldn't ask it things.
No. And our cell phones were like this big, so you didn't punch it in or anything. So I spent my weekend asking people how to shine shoes, because people were going to, and this is not the answer. Oh, I go to a dark area and I go, yeah, that is not the answer.
I would show you how to do it, but it's a secret. It's a Kris ancient Chinese secret. I don't know.
I had them doing all kind of lighters, and it was awful. Nobody's shoes shined as well as mine, though.
and also, I thought he was going to ask you what that aerosol smell
was.
No. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, so then, but what made you decide not to stay with that?
So, you got the boots. You're making me feel so you right the last week of this long, you think Vacation Bible School long academy. They take you one by one, they take you into a room, and they say, what they said, Cadet Oliver, you are going to be stationed at Algley, because they humor you.
Yeah.
The week before, they humor you, and you write the 3 places you'd like to go, the 3 counties you would like to go in Ohio. So, hey, Ross, Pickaway, Bike. I think I actually said Jackson because I wanted to seem like I was adventurous.
Yeah, getting out there outside your scope. That's right. There you go.
And so I sat down, and he said, Cadet Oliver, what do you think about Auglaize County? And I said, I think that's a fine county. And he said, do you know where Auglaize County is? I said, nope. Because we studied that about 3 months ago. I have no idea where that is. I said, but I will find out before I head out that way.
Yeah.
And so Auglaize County is north, is between and what's right below Lima, if you know where Lima is, right above Dayton. Know that, yeah. It is not Pickaway, Pike, or Jackson counties.
Did anyone in your class?
Yes, several. And they didn't want to go to Ross County. I was going to file a complaint, but let's get real.
But for 3 years, you were in.
That was Auglaize and Mercer counties, yeah.
And so you lived up there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't not.
Yeah, I bought myself a Bronco too. Oh. When I got commissioned as a state trooper, I bought myself a brand new vehicle, and moved up north.
Okay, wow. So then that probably ultimately then after you're a statey for a while, can't you put in to be stationed somewhere closer to home? And
you can,
but you
can do anything, Debbie.
You can do it all.
Doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Okay, so you did.
You have to remember when this is back in 1987.
Okay,
for those who are doing a calculation, stop. Okay, yeah. So
nobody has to be doing that math. Come on now.
So this is when the girls had to have the same haircuts as the boys.
Okay.
So, there was no, hey, can I just pull it up in a bun?
Chop that baby off.
Yes. When I entered the academy, they gave you a picture of what your hair had to look like.
Wow. I don't think they do that now.
No. And mine was short because, I had longer hair, and I got all cut, and I got put in the line to get an additional haircut, and whoa.
I would have cried.
Whoa. Oh, well, troopers.
No crying.
Troopers don't cry.
Troopers don't cry. Not in public.
Troopers don't cry. As they said, often to me.
Like when little tears started to cluster up.
So women, when I was commissioned, I was the 33rd female in the Highway Patrol.
My goodness.
So you can think how many there are now.
Yeah, you see them quite a bit.
Yeah. And they have made great strides.
You're a trailblazer.
No, but women that long after me did a lot. We just kept our mouths shut and said, okay, we'll ride in the back seat.
Oh, gosh.
Because there was no reason to fight.
Yeah. And so then, so you did that for 3 years, and then you started one day, you thought, you know what, this is not for me anymore. I want to do something else.
I'm not saying it's statewide, and don't throw out don't throw the apples out just because there's one bad apple.
Yeah.
But There just happened to be one bad apple. And that happened to be at my station, at my post.
Okay. That,
So,
work atmosphere, and you're right. One
Yeah.
bad apple can make the whole.
Yeah.
the
And
whole
I was very young about if this woman became a
Was-
state trooper, oh, I'd rue the day on that one.
Yeah, it's a whole
Yeah,
different
but-
life.
but I
now.
wasn't that
You've
person.
grown. Yeah, I get it. You've grown so much since then.
God's timing's perfect.
Yeah. So that was an experience. You learned a lot about yourself that you could actually go through a drive-through.
I can now.
But you said,
But if they
when you-
question me, I still make. Or if Gene says, "Tell him to give us ketchup," I won't do it.
no
I
extras.
will not cheat. If you wanted ketchup, you tell me when I'm at the little speakery thing here.
Not when
But
we do
she's-
the pickup.
Now, when I'm at the pickup, I'm not going to throw them. Everything is in it. No, I'm not doing it.
Oh my gosh, you would hate me. You
Oh.
would hate me. I was. Oh, by the way, can I add a salsa?
Do you see Gene over there? Get hot sauce. Get hot sauce. No. If
You
you
didn't
wanted
ask
hot
him.
sauce, you asked back there.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. So it's still a little bit of a anxiety button for you going through drive.
But I do the same thing and then I'm okay. Do not
Okay.
make me serve.
Don't don't veer from the normal. Yeah, don't bring a new drive-through in town.
At napkins, no. I'm sorry. Can I have a straw? No. Take the lid off and don't spill. You wanted a straw? Back there's
there.
where you say that. Yeah, I'm serious.
Oh my gosh, Kris. Okay, so let's go. Let's move. So you thought, okay, bad apple. I'm not in it to do this,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm not. Hey, you're right. I also look back at things that maybe I could have handled differently if Debbie today had gone back to handle that. So you could have handled that bad apple.
Yeah.
You would have been like,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm,
But so
mhm.
then you left, and then you decided to do what?
Well, I wanted to come. I should have come home. That would have been the smart thing to do. But now I'm
There.
away from home.
Yeah, you're already
And,
established
you
3
know,
years deep into this.
Yeah, I've met some people, and I was playing a lot of softball. And yeah, just really, boy, talk about letting the train go off the tracks.
That was it.
Woo! Off the tracks. And just bad decision. And so finally, about a year and a half or so later, I had to call mom and dad and say, "Hey, I'm smart enough to know I'm making some bad decisions."
Yeah.
And dad took his little Debbie truck and came up north and
And got his little Chrissy.
yep, we
And put
packed
him
it
in
all
put her in the
and came
little Debbie.
home.
All right.
Yep.
And then what?
A man from church who owned a construction company, Chuck Radslaff, at Radslaff Construction. He was starting a minority company, a construction company.
Awesome.
And so they needed a
girl.
woman. And so he asked, and I just loved the Radslaffs and their daughters and all. And so I had to drive the big trucks. So as I drove the trucks.
Once again, male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to do all kinds of things. I'd never learned how to weld, but I would have to sit close to the welder so that I would have welding time. I had to drive my job was the steamroller, the big roller.
Oh my god.
Because they wouldn't put me on anything else. Little would they know that 30 years later I
you
would
have
have crane and all that.
Oh my gosh.
But I did the roller. I did the traffic control, with
Okay.
the stop sign.
Mm-hmm.
I was amazing at that. Womp. And then people,
I don't think you're stopped.
Whoa. It's
Breaking the rules. It says STOP.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so I did that for a little while, but that really wasn't
That wasn't your
that
jam.
wasn't it. Then I saw an ad in the newspaper for Pinkerton investigation,
Okay.
and so Pinkerton was the largest. It's the oldest private investigation firm in the country.
Yeah. And
became the FBI, right?
Yes, right.
Yeah.
But with that time, where was
In Columbus.
Okay.
And so I thought, well, this sounds fun. And so I got a job as a private investigator. I was an undercover plant in a factory in Columbus for
Wow.
about a year and a half. And the funny thing is, I had to have a different persona See,
who were
thought,
you then?
They thought that this was just not bad. I know. They didn't think I'd ever pass. I know. So I had this earring. I had this ear piercing up here. And I had this. They bought me this marijuana leaf that dangled down. I know. And
that's such a good look.
And I had this rat tail.
Oh, those were popular.
That they dyed blonde.
Oh.
I
have the whole picture. Can you guys?
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah.
I would no pictures of this for us to share.
No. Okay,
so you went to work like you were like the new hired in person. You're doing this job for longer than a year, and it was your job to figure out stuff that was going on the inside.
Yeah, there was and they were right. There was a lot of drugs.
Okay,
a lot of drinking. And,
on the job.
Oh yes. A lot of theft.
Well, did they want you to join in? I mean,
yes, I had to. Which was funny because I would have to. The one thing that happened was the manager. I was stealing this big typewriter, and think about it. Think about how old. Yes, yes. So this big electronic. And the manager asked me what I was doing. I said I was taking it home, and he carried it out to my car for me.
Oh my gosh. But now wait a minute, let's go back to this. So you probably, I mean, you had to do what types of things?
Well, my job, I got hired.
This is where she has Jesus looking at me. Watch the questions, Debbie.
I hired in, and I hired in as inventory control, something like that. And I was told to just
go with the flow. But you were supposed to
just be nothing. But honestly, how hard is it when you go 3? I mean, how much of a schmuck can I do with this?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Oh, you want one of those?
2.
And so I kept getting in trouble because I kept getting promoted. And I said, I don't know what you want me to do. I literally took a nap for 2 hours.
Gosh, you can imagine how the other people were if she was getting promoted when she took a nap.
Yes.
But did you have to drink, or like when people were like, "Hey, you're new, come on, let's have
this."
Well,
I did have one of the guys brought rhubarb moonshine.
Nothing like a good moonshine day on the job, people.
Yeah, and if it's rhubarb, well, let's just. It was the worst stuff.
I can't even imagine.
It was a matter of fact, to get the taste out of my mouth, I went and licked my tire just to try to get the tire. It was awful. I
thought she was going to say, I asked for a shot of tequila.
It was terrible.
I needed to change the flavor in my
No.
Does anybody have any tequila to help this rhubarb moonshine go down?
It was some tough stuff. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So then I have to know. So then you found out enough deets and you gave them what they needed to know. And then that job was your job well done.
Yeah. So I would work there 8 hours. I would go to Pinkerton, write a report, and every day that I did that over and over.
Wow.
And up until when there was too many drugs, and it really became enough. This has been fun. And I mean, it's fun playing poker. That's how I had to not do good in my job. I had to go find somebody to play poker with me.
Yes.
So I wasn't so good at counting.
Understood. Yeah.
And so then when it got questionable,
then I guess they need enough proof. Like it has to go on, and you have to ledger so many incidents before maybe they can.
I don't think they did it. I know they fired one guy because he had a large amount of drugs.
Yeah,
I know they fired him, but I think the business went under, which is probably not hard to believe because they were stealing typewriters.
Hey, could you open the door? Sure, take it home. I don't know you want this big thing.
Yeah.
Let me get the door for you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Kris, that's crazy. Okay, so we've got State Highway Patrol, go off the rails. Then we're a private investigator, and then what?
My grandfather, who lived just about a block away from me, he had a heart attack, and he had several, but he had a heart attack and actually died. But when he called the squad, there was so many people that showed up to help. And so in honor of my grandfather, I decided that I was going to become an EMT. So I took the
Oh my
class,
gosh.
and I thought, you know what, for 1 year, I'm going to be there for somebody else's grandpa or grandma or whoever. So I started the class, and to say that the bug bit me is the understatement. From just practically day one, I wanted to be a doctor. It was ultimately my goal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I became a EMT. I loved it. I went back to school. I became an intermediate, which is the next step up where you can start IVs, because I thought sticking stuff in people would be fun. So,
Turns out
you all have to have something. And I became an instructor at Pickaway Ross, and I taught.
Oh wow!
I taught.
I did not know that.
Then I went on, became a paramedic.
Okay.
And then I became a 240 firefighter on top of that, and I did that for about 20 years. I was the chief for Scioto Township for a good while. And
oh, chief. Okay, didn't know. We're all going to get her autograph before she leaves.
yeah.
Wow, that is impressive. How did I never? I don't know. In my mind, you've always owned all signs, but you haven't. How did that come into play into your life with the sign company?
So I did little silly jobs. I want you to know, never one time in my life has this ever come out of my mouth. I want to be a sign girl.
I can't wait to make signs.
Never
I can't
one
wait
time,
to get on a big
never
crane.
one time has that ever said. I've never said that, but just doing some just jobs I didn't really like, and my sister and brother-in-law owned all signs, and so they were starting out, and he asked if I'd come in and answer the phones and just,
nice.
just do some things. And I thought,
sure.
Well, I'm either going to probably get myself into trouble or stay busy.
But at the same time, you were still like doing
I was
EMT
doing other things. But I volunteered as an EMT.
Did all that. Yeah.
And so they used to have to go to Kentucky to get their vinyl.
Wow.
So once or twice a week, they would drive all the way to Kentucky and get it. Wow. And so Roger bought this silly little machine that cut vinyl. It had this teeny weeny little window you pecked on it, and it would just cut these little letters.
Wow.
And so
that's crazy.
I've never been much to just sit around and and I despise it when somebody tells me I can't do something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to figure out how to use this thing. And so I played and played and played on it. And Sherry came in. She worked at the prison. She came in and I said, hey, Sherry, look, bam. And I had made a sign. And it was probably much smaller than that. But
it was huge.
In my memory, it was like this.
I could hardly lift it.
It really wasn't. But she's like, what? And I said, yeah,
yeah.
You don't want to know how much vinyl I had to throw away, but that's why are we talking about that?
Don't bring that up.
So she said, well, can you make this? And so the next day I played and played and played until I made another one. And so they said, well, why don't you quit all these other stupid jobs and come in and just do this? And I thought, well, I really didn't want to do those jobs, and I really didn't want to be a sign girl, but okay.
I like it.
And so that's how it started.
And that's how it all started.
And so they
I was still
able to be a paramedic.
I was still able to teach
at Pickaway Ross.
Still able to do all this.
So they worked around my schedule.
Sure.
And so one day they said, hey, if we buy you a bigger computer, will you learn how to use it? And I said, well, sure.
Yeah, so, I have a feeling you appreciate the challenge.
Yep.
Too.
So that's how I was playing softball. Matter of fact, I had just finished my paramedic school, just taken the tests, and I was in a national softball tournament, and I was being a weenie. I can be honest. I was being a wiener. I should not have done it.
Yeah.
But I was trying to stretch a single into a double, and I slid into second base and dislocated my kneecap.
Oh.
And put it right over onto the side of my.
And lucky you're a paramedic, so you're able to put that right back.
No, I said, oh, this is not right.
This is not good.
See how I knew that?
Yeah.
Because I paid attention in anatomy. I said, this
does not belong.
This is bad. This is terrible. And so I was off the squad. All that I had worked for, everything that had happened was all on hold. And Jerry and Roger said, well, why don't you just come in and sit on this computer and learn how to use this? We'll get you a bigger computer. And so they did.
Boom.
and they made me this big chair with my leg up, and
Aw.
and gave me a doorbell, because that was back before there was intercoms.
Oh my gosh.
And,
ding,
so you
ding,
had-
ding.
yeah.
I can't imagine me with one of those. Hey, if someone's going to come, hey, ding, ding, ding.
No, and
Wow.
so
But I mean, that company has grown. So that would have been how many years ago?
89, 90. Let's see, I
In the
became
90s?
I became a paramedic in 92. I became a paramedic.
Okay.
So
It's been a long time. And All Signs is huge.
let's not long time.
Once again, Debbie, scale it back. We don't need to be talking numbers here.
It never really wanted to do it. You know what? I told God I'd be there as long as He wanted me to be there.
And you're still
Yeah,
there?
but I still say, Lord, whenever you're ready for me to walk out, you just let me know.
Yeah.
Every day He says, guess where I want you.
Yeah. And you guys do so much for the community. I mean, I know all these fundraiser golf matches that I, go to, and I see your signs where you've been a sponsor. Everywhere I go, I see you guys as sponsors. I feel like you're my personal sponsor. All Signs help me make this.
Ironically, I feel that same way.
Ironically, me too, Debbie. We're on the same page, girl. Oh my gosh.
It's truly been a blessing.
Oh,
The
yeah.
people that we've gotten to meet.
Yeah.
We would never. Bob and Jewel Evans. They used to come in all the time, and
Yeah.
I just loved him.
Mm-hmm.
She was very prim and proper. You had to be.
Which one?
Jewel Evans.
Oh, she was going to keep.
But Bob, he was a good old boy.
Oh, I love that.
We've had the Secret Service in because we made a banner for when was it Clinton that came? I think it was President Clinton.
He did.
Because they didn't want to have a exploding banner or whatever they thought we were going to do, but we did that. I don't want to be a bragger.
Well,
but,
this is the
brag.
time.
We had NBC come and I did signs for a TV show.
Oh wow!
A national TV show. The Unsolved Mysteries. They were doing a mystery in Circleville.
Okay. Wow.
And so we had to create signs that would have been 20 years old,
And you said, hey, not to mention it.
Yeah.
We're not talking about numbers here and how, but I've been there.
National TV. Thank you. And if I
know how to make a sign of what it looked like 20 years ago. Because I've been there.
I think we made 12, 15 signs. But when we watched the episode, of course, we all gathered around.
Oh, yeah.
We were all,
that's so fun.
The only sign of all of these, for approximately a half of a second, you see the school bus we lettered passing the back.
Oh, no, that's it?
That's it. That's the only thing. But I did get to say national TV. Bam! That was me right there.
I did that.
Rewind it.
Screenshot, take a picture of the TV.
See, back there, you couldn't do that.
Oh, okay.
So the past is the past.
You just have that memory. Yeah. It's long gone. With that school bus as it zoomed by. That's it. That's all we got, girls. That's all we got. Oh my gosh. But I just think it's interesting that I've known you for this many years and didn't know half of what you just said. So I would say that a lot of people probably are going to be surprised to know that you have done all of that.
Yeah, I like to be in the background.
I noticed when I was trying to find pictures.
Yeah, really.
And when you do find the pictures, and that's why I loved the one where you're going like that, because I'm like, oh my gosh, she's actually kind of smiling at the camera and like doing a little pose. I'm like, that's the only one I could find. All the rest of them, it's like you're like, where's Waldo? Hiding in there somewhere. Like, let's find her.
Yeah. I have to go to the bathroom right before that. Oh, sorry.
I gotta go. Oh my gosh, it's so fun. Let me see. Anything else I want to talk about? I do want to see. Let's see what the time is. How are we doing on time, Lynn?
8:44. Not that I was keeping track.
No, it's 8:44.
I said 8 o'clock was my bedtime.
Me too.
Everybody at All Signs tomorrow, they're going to be walking on some serious.
They're going to be like, oh gosh, she had a late night. She was out until 8. It's going to be bad. But I am the same way. Like when it gets dark this early, I mean, like at 5:30, it feels like, well, shoot, it's time to go to bed. I mean, and you just, it's crazy. Okay, so Eden says, Deb, I'm even surprised by some of these. LOL. Oh my gosh. If you know Kris, you know how crazy the pot leaf is. Exactly. And I have the visual of it like hanging right here with the blonde rat tail on the back. Classy. That's a look. And did you know we don't have a picture of that? But okay, so Kris, every time I have someone on, most of the time, if I remember, the show's called Find It. So what we want to know is, what have you found in life that you can share so you can help us find it too?
Well, I have to say the undeserved grace of Jesus. I mean, that's the one thing that's changed my life the most. Boy, if Diane Oliver was alive, she was the queen of the one-liners, the great pieces of advice.
Yeah.
You know, like nobody defines you but you. So you be that person.
No one defines you but you.
Mm-hmm.
Be that person.
Yeah. She used to say, if it can be fixed by money, it's not a big deal.
Nice. Ooh, I like that. I've never heard that.
Yeah, but when it happens to you and somebody says it, yeah, it is really annoying.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's true. You know, we get all upset and worked up about stupid. And what was it? $100, $20, whatever. Hello. You know, you stepped on my new shoe. So what? You know, don't sweat the little things, she would say. I
remember I met her. I remember meeting her a couple of times. She was an awesome lady. And I remember the one time that I met, it was your dad and your mom together. And I remember how you, and I think one of your sisters was there too, and how you honored them, your parents, and how you could tell the love and the respect that you had for them. And I just remember, I took notice of that, you know, and of course, honor thy mother and father. And when you have good ones, it makes it a lot easier to do.
It was much, yeah. Very, very, very blessed with that. My sisters are pretty cool too.
Oh, I know. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Corey.
Don't make me cry.
Hey, troopers don't cry, but at least she's not a trooper anymore, so she can let the tears.
Oh, yeah, I cry like a baby. No, I'm
Hey, the memories of people, and absolutely, it brings it. It brings it. So that is the wise words from Kris Oliver, but also
I have one more.
Good.
That Diane Oliver would say.
Diane
Oliver would say. Well, she said this a lot. Kris, put it down. Stop it. You know, she said that a lot. Come back here. I saw that. Those were also wise words she said. But I think the one thing that I carry the most with me is, don't let the way people treat you determine how you act. And that's true, because if I was going to do it, you know, maybe you lied to me about it. If I was going to give you that, what you do is irrelevant. Okay. I'm only called to do what I'm supposed to do. So I think that's important. And if you cry, Debbie, then I am going to cry, because I will have reactionary crying.
Reaction like, I don't want anybody crying alone.
You know.
But wait a minute. So, like, give me an example of that, though. So, like, for instance, like
somebody, I'll tell you a story. We were walking down Main Street, my oldest sister and her children, and years ago, but a very common woman came up to us and said, you know, you got money for a tampon, I think.
That was Downtown Debbie.
Yeah, okay. Well, I wasn't going to say anything, but hey.
Downtown Debbie. And it wasn't me.
I remember. Anyway, but my nephew, Jay, God bless him, he, of course, Tammy and I were like, no. And Jay pulled out money, and he ran down the street and gave her that money. Now, he was old enough that we didn't say, come back here, you idiot. You know, he was old enough that he was allowed to run down the street. But anyway, all of them made fun of him
for doing that.
Yeah. But it wasn't what she was going to do with the money that mattered.
It was his giving heart.
His intention was honorable. So it didn't matter to him that she wasn't going to buy tampons. Yeah. You know, that. And I think I've just carried that through.
That's really, really good advice. Yeah. I really love that, Kris. Oh. And thank you, Diane Oliver, for that. that
You're a wise woman.
wise woman. I love that. So thanks for sharing that with us. That's amazing. So guys, I got to get her home and get her nighty-night time.
Come on, Jesus.
Jesus is going back in the pocket.
Back in the pocket.
And remember, I love God, but some of his children get on my nerves. That's what her shirt says, as we said in the beginning. And someone bought me, it was Carrie North, bought me a makeup bag that says, I love Jesus, but I cuss a little. And that is so, I love it. Like I carry it all the time. Thanks again for that, Carrie.
I was gonna wear my "Not Today, Satan."
Not today, Satan. Oh my gosh, that's so funny because I say that about
Yep.
sometimes I say that about like the jewelry that I have. Anyway, you know. So all right, well, I think we made it so you can get home and get to sleep and not be grouchy tomorrow. And so
well, it won't help, but okay.
with that, you guys, we are going to say good night to you. Thank you who joined us live, and if you're watching on replay, good to see you here as well. And don't forget in life to find it, and don't let others' opinions of you define who you are. Is that close enough?
It's close enough.
Close enough. All right. So with that, y'all, have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.
That floats around me, keeping